Hi everyone, welcome to our screencast of the assignment 2 past paper question on petty cash book and cash book. You have already submitted the answers, and I'm gonna post the video cast of the answers on Edmodo so that you can self-assess your submitted assignment. So let's get on with it. Let's quickly review the question. It's a trader, and she maintains three-column cash book and also a petty cash book and the impressed amount. So let's highlight the impressed amount is 150. So the impressed amount is the starting amount. So let's make a notation here. So the petty cash book should start with so it should start with 150. So that's the starting amount. So bear with us for a second. And the starting amount is 150. Then it says all payments below 100 are made from the petty cash book. As we said that small payments are recorded in the petty cash book, every business has to make a policy regarding that. So this business has a policy of anything below 100 to go in the petty cash book. So amounts above 100 will go in the main cash book. So let's get on with it. There are two options. You can review each transaction and then I'll go scroll down and show you what's required. So if you notice there is petty cash book A1 and cash book A2, and if we scroll further down you can see cash book here. Balances have already been entered for you. The opening balances are already there, and if we scroll further it is a petty cash book and the balance has already been entered for you. And one option is you can complete them one by one, or you can go through the transactions and keep filling them simultaneously. You can do them at the same time. So I'll be filling them up at the same time. So I will read the transaction and I'll see if it has to go to petty cash book or cash book, and I will enter it accordingly. So let's go up again and see the first transaction. On September 1, the petty cash is restored. So impressed is restored here, and you again have to see that impressed has to be 150. So we'll go down in the petty cash book and see how much is already there, and we'll make it 150. So you see 63 is there already. So we're gonna make it 150. So we'll minus this from 150, and we will restore it 87. So 87 in the total received column, and it is September 1. You can just put 1, and this is the impressed restored, but we have to check up. So let's check up how is it restored. Is it restored by cash or by check? So we're going to go up in the transactions and see it is restored from the business bank account. So if you see, let's circle the bank account. So this is bank account. It means the main cashier has given a check to the petty cashier, and the petty cashier will basically cash that check and then put the money in the petty cash. So this is a kind of money moving from the bank column of the cash book to the petty cash book. So this has to go in both cash books. So it will go on the debit side of the petty cash book and on the credit side of the cash book. So, but it's not a counter entry, mind you. It is coming in two cash books, but counter entries are only made in the cash book from bank to cash. So let's make an entry in the petty cash first. So this is instead of impressed restored, so let's delete impressed restored and just write bank there. So that's your bank here, and the double entry of this will go in the cash book. So we'll go to the cash book and make a double entry on the credit side on September 1 petty cash book or petty cash, both are okay. And in the bank column we will make the entry. So 87, you can see it's going out of the bank. So bank is decreased by 87, and in the petty cash, cash has increased by 87. Now we can circle these two, 83 and 87, and just make a notation on the side that now it is equal to the impressed amount. So just make a notation up there. 63 plus 87 is 150, and in the bracket we'll say impressed. So this is equal to impressed, which is given in the question. So this is the first thing you always do in the petty cash book. Can correct the typo. IMPREST. So 63 plus 87 is 150, and I'll go up again to show you that it was 150 when we highlighted up there. So that's the starting amount of the interest. Always do that when you start your cash book. If it's a new petty cash book which is just being started without any balance, then it can just be one number. But since this is a continuing business, it has a balance. So balance plus the restoration is equal to the impressed amount. So let's go to the next transaction. Paid taxi fare. Now look at the amount. It's $12. It's below 100, so it will go in the petty cash book. So let's enter it in the petty cash book. So bear with us for a second. We'll go up again. What was it? We'll just check again. It was taxi fare. So yeah, so we'll fill up in the details taxi fare, and we'll find a suitable column for it. In the analysis columns, you notice there are three analysis columns here: travel, postage, and ledger accounts. So travel is obviously the relevant column, so we'll put it in travel column, and at the same time in the total paid column. So we'll fill up simultaneously. Okay, so let's go up to the next one. 7th, we paid 461. Now here the amount is more than 100, so it will go in the main cash book. And another indication is you are paying by check. Anything you pay by check obviously goes to the main cash book. It cannot go in the petty cash book. So you are paying 461 by check, and it is for the repairs to the office machinery. Again, mind the details. Don't just put the office machinery, put repairs to office machinery. So in the details you will be putting repairs, just repairs, or repairs to office machinery, but writing only office machinery would be wrong. So let's go in the main cash book. 7, we paid for the repairs, so we'll just write repairs, and we paid it by check. So in the bank column we'll put the amount. We'll go up and check again. It's 461. So we're gonna enter payment of 461. So bank decreased by 461, and the details is repairs. Let's go to the next one. On 11th, purchased office stationery. Again, the amount, always look at the amount, because you have to decide, is it less than 100 or more than 100, to be sure where it's gonna end up, whether it goes in the petty cash book or cash book. Here it's 64, less than 100, so it will go in petty cash book. So let's put on 11th of September. So 11th, you got stationery, and if you see the analysis columns, the suitable column is postage and stationery. So we'll put the number there just to confirm how much it is, and we put it in the postage and also in the total simultaneously. So it's a payment for postage and stationery. The next one, a check of 210 received from SL Stores in August. We are dealing with the month of September, if you notice. So there is this check which was received last month from the customer called SL Stores, and now the bank has informed you that this check has been dishonored. So obviously this will go in the cash book, and you know, the dishonored checks go on the credit side of the cash book in the bank column. So we'll make on 15th of September, SL Stores in the details. This is the name of the customer whose check is dishonored, and in the bank column we will put the amount of the check. Just to double check, a check of $210, and in the bracket we will write beside SL Stores dishonored check, so a dis check. Not mandatory. If you want to write, you can otherwise, but writing the name of the customer is mandatory. So you must write SL stores. If you only write dishonored check, you will lose a mark because the double entry should be shown properly, that the double entry for this will go in SL stores account on the debit side. So let's go to the next one. On 21st, you are paying a supplier, but the amount paid is less than 100, so you're only paying 29, so it will go in the petty cash book on 21st. So you go to petty cash book and we'll write the name of the supplier you paid the money to. We'll just double check the name and the other details. Yeah, and it is 29, and since it's a trade payable, so you're going to use the ledger accounts column, and you know which ledger it is. It should be in the purchases ledger, since this guy is a trade payable. So we can take a notation for you on in the bracket that it's a TP. Don't have to make it, just for you to notice here that it's a trade payable, and that 29 will go to that trade payables account on the debit side. uh, Normally you pay your payables by check, but sometimes if there is a small amount owing, you can just give them cash, so that's what's happening here. You are paying $29 in cash to this trade payable, and it is ending up in petty cash flow. Next one, after 21st, we have 26th. We are receiving a check. If you remember from our previous screencasts, we always used to show working. So when you receive a check and the amount of the check is given, like here, the check is $392. So this $392 is after the cash discount. So 2% of the cash discount has already been deducted. So we will not multiply 2% with 392. We'll do the inverse calculation. So let's show the calculation again. 392 divided by 100% minus 2%, which is the 98%, and we'll get the answer, which is the amount before the deduction of cash discount. So before the deduction it was 400, after the deduction it was 392, so the discount would have been $8. So let's show that working also. So the discount allowed would have been $8. So this is your discount allowed. So basically your customer was owing you $400, but he paid you only $392. So you allowed him a discount of $8. So these, now we have the amount for the discount column and the amount for the bank column. So the bank column will record 392 and the discount column will record 8. So let's go in the cash book and record it there. So we are receiving a check. So on the debit side of the cash book, we'll write the name of the customer, just confirming. And we'll put the $8 in discount allowed and $392 in the bank column, and the working has been shown up again. This does always be careful how to find the amount before discount and the amount after discount. Read the question carefully. So if the amount of check is given, like here, the amount of check was given, so we found which is after the cash discount, so we found the amount before the discount, and then we minus the two to find the discount. The next one is cash sales, and we just split them up into 4,800, and we paid this amount into the bank. It means the remaining $40 we kept as cash. So let's show working here. Let's show working up there first. That how much? 4,840 minus 4,800, so that we know how much of it will remain in cash column. So 40 goes in the cash column. So in the cash book, we will enter 4,800 in the bank column because we immediately deposited it, and $40 in the cash. So on the debit side, we'll make entry for sales, and cash is 40 and the rest is banked. Okay, and don't mix it with this cash going to petty cash book, because although it's less than 100 now, but we will not do it because we are just putting it immediately in the cash book, the 4840, and breaking it down into 40 and 4800. The next one, paid. Now you're paying a supplier, it's a trade payable, an account of 480. Now you see it's not a check. Here this 480 is not the check, it is the account, which means 480 is the amount before the discount. So let's make a notation. This 480 is before discount. Now if this is before discount, you can multiply it with 2.5% to find the discount, and then you can subtract the 2 to find the amount of the check. So let's do the working here. So we'll take 480, multiply it with 2.5%. So this is your discount, and then we subtract this from 480, and you will know the amount of the check. So this is going to go in the bank column. Okay, so let's fill them up now. You're paying a check, so it will go on the credit side of the cash book. We'll see the date and confirm the name. So 29, the name of the trade payable. Okay, and then we fill up the discount and the bank. So this is how that 480 splits into 468 and 12. The last one, you're paying postage and the amount is less than 100, so it's going to end up in petty cash book. So let's enter petty cash book, postage, and the appropriate column is the postage and stationery. So we'll fill up in, just confirming the amount again, $22 in the postage account and in the total paid account. So that's it, that does all the transactions. Okay, the final steps in balancing. So let's go up and balance the cash book first. Before balancing, just look at the discount columns and just get the totals. So this will be written $8, this is the total. Go to discount received, take the total, it is $12. So always get the discount columns out of the way because we don't have to balance them. For cash column, just check the balance, 120 plus 40, so that's your 160. 160 is the total. On the other side, if you see, there is nothing in the cash, so it means all of it is balanced. So we'll write 160 here also first, and then as a total, because this is no, it's okay. Just get the balance there, and this is the balance CD also. So yours, so 30th September balance CD for the cash is 160. Okay, so no cash has been spent actually. So 160 of the cash was there, and all of this cash is still a balance. Let's check the bank. For bank, always be careful because it could be bank overdraft. So let's double check. Add the numbers in the bank column on the debit, and right at the top, just pencil in 5192, then check the numbers on the credit, add them up. So 3841, 87, 461, 210, and 468. They are adding up to 50. So it is less than the total on the debit, so it's a normal balance. So we'll minus the 2 to get a balance of 125. So 125 is a debit balance, a normal balance. Although we started off as bank overdraft, but we are ending up with a favorable balance. And then we get the totals on both sides, which is 5192 and 5192, and we can erase those numbers which we later can just erase them off. You can cancel them and then just erase them off. So we have done the balancing, and we'll bring the balance down at the beginning of next period. So October 1, balance brought down. Cash is 160 and bank is 125. Just to make the totals little bolder, we'll just highlight all of these and make them bigger. The last line, which is the totals, or one by one, can just make them bigger. Just bear with us for a while so that you don't mix it up. So you can see we took a pause and made a bit of editing. We made the totals in all the columns in red, and they are also in a bigger font size, and the balances have been brought down in a different color. So October will start with 160 and 125. Let's go on to petty cash book and finish it off. For petty cash book, we will total the columns first. So let's do the total of all the columns one by one. So total paid column so far is adding up to 127. So basically this is the total amount spent. Now let's total the other columns. Travel is 12, 86 is the postage and stationery, and 29 is the ledger accounts. You can double check it by adding across also. 12 plus 86 plus 29 should also be 127. So basically $127 have been paid out in petty cash out of the impressed of 150. So we can balance the petty cash book by subtracting the two. So 150 minus 127 will give us the balance. So on 30th, the balance CD would be balance CD in the petty cash book, which is the petty cash still with the petty cashier. So that's the cash left in the petty cash box. So 150 minus 127. So he's left with $23. Okay, now the total column and the total paid and the total received, both columns should add up to 150. So there is a total of 150, and the total paid column should also add up to 150. And now we can begin the petty cash book for the next month. So October 1, balance brought down will be $23. Will be $23. So that's your balance, and then it will be restored again to 150. So bank again. This we need to confirm. So let's go up in the question, that is it restored by check or what? So it says let's go down. It says balance each book and bring down the balances on 1st of October, and let's see if the restoration is required. All right, just go down all the way. Okay, further, yeah, so restoration is not required in the question, so we will not restore it. So let's just finish it at balance BD. Most of the questions in petty cash book would ask you to restore the balance. So if that was the case, you would have restored this 23 again back to 150. So you would do 150 minus 23, and you would restore whatever answer you get will be restored here, but not in this question. So this is a petty cash book which has just been balanced, but it has not been restored to impress because the question didn't want us to do it. So that does it for both cash books, the petty cash book and the cash book. What you should do is make your notes from all this video cast, and in your assignments make any notes of the things that are not coming right with you, or anything else that you want to ask, and you can ask me on Edmodo. So self-assess yourself, your assignments against this screencast, and ask your questions, and stay safe. Thank you. Bye.